In this video, I wanted to look at an Android app that uses checkboxes. In particular, the scenario is going to be that the user is going to choose his or her hobbies from a list of suggested hobbies. The code for this app can be found at the URL seen. So this is what the app looks like in the AVD. We have a set of checkboxes. They're arranged here in 3 columns. The user will pick some hobbies, gardening, hiking, and drawing, and then can hit enter, and the hobbies will be listed. If any hobbies are added, it clears out. If any hobbies are subtracted, it clears out. So there's a checkbox event and the button event that we should be looking for. Okay, so let's look first at the design. So here we are in activity main, and we achieved those columns with some linear layouts. So we had a large linear layout that was horizontal. And then within that, we will have 3 linear layouts that are vertical. Let's see if we can go to the design and look here. So here you can see in this sort of tree-like structure that we have the constraint layout. Then we have a linear layout. And within the linear layout, we have 3 vertical linear layouts. And then within the vertical linear layouts, we have the checkboxes. Below that, outside of the overall horizontal linear layout, we have a button and a text view to display the hobbies. So that's, again, so it was a linear layout. That's a container, so there's an open and a close tag. Then another linear layout. You can see that you have different orientations of linear layout, horizontal and vertical, and in a linear layout as opposed to a constraint layout. In a constraint layout, you must constrain it. You say sort of what it attaches to other things or the container in horizontally and vertically. Whereas so the overall linear layout has to be constrained, but then anything inside the linear layout, inside this linear layout, gets put on horizontally going across, and then this interlinear layout is vertical. So anything within it is going to be sort of lined up one under the other. Okay, so that is the design. Later, we will do another example in another video where the checkboxes will be added dynamically, but for now they are in design. Now let's go over and look at main activity. Okay, so I have a bunch of hobbies. I systematically named them. Let me go back to activity main to facilitate sort of looping over them. I gave these checkboxes sort of consecutive naming scheme: check hobby 1, check hobby 2. Probably should have started at 0. If it's, usually in computer science we start at 0, but I labeled them 1 through 18. Okay, so connect the code to the interface so here's the button, getting a code version of the button, getting a code version of the text view. And here's this loop using the range 1 to 18, looping through. Here we are creating that name, those IDs that we gave it, but it's sort of really more of a name than an ID. So check hobby 1, check hobby 2, check hobby 3, up to 18. Then we're getting the genuine ID, which is a number from this name, this ID that we made over in design, which is really more a name. So we're looking that up within the IDs under our package, and we get the ID, and then from the ID we can get the widget and let the world know that it's a checkbox, and then give that checkbox a change event, which we will define below. In fact, it's going to be outside of the onCreate. Okay, here is the button click. So I'm going to start off with just a string, quote, quote of hobbies. So a blank set of hobbies. I'm going to, again, loop from 1 to 18 and basically repeat that same process above. Create the name, get the ID from the name, get the checkbox. Ask if that checkbox is checked. If that checkbox is checked, then I'm going to add it to my list of hobbies. So I'm just saying checkbox text to string and putting a little space between them all. Here's the end of my loop. So I've looped now through all of my hobbies. If the hobbies string is still quote, quote, then I'm saying get a hobby. Otherwise, I'm listing the hobbies. So I don't think I showed that. So if they have no hobbies and I hit enter, it says get a hobby. Okay. So now there's the end of onCreate. Here is the listener for the checkbox event. It belongs to a more generic thing, the CompoundButton.OnCheckedChangeListener. And it gives you sort of two arguments here. One is which widget, which compound button did you check? And then the other one is the Boolean, whether it is or is not checked. So the two events, the selecting it will bring you here and the deselecting it will bring you here. And we are grabbing from, we're grabbing the text view for the hobby. I had it up above to put the hobbies in, but now I am outside of onCreate and I made it in onCreate, so I had to remake it. I could have made it global. That would be another approach, is to declare T hobbies sort of globally and then have access to it here outside of onCreate, but I didn't do that this time. I just sort of recreated it and cleared out the text. So that's all the checkbox event is doing, is clearing out the decision, and then the user will have to re-click the button to see the new list of hobbies. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. Thank you.